So a while back I made a video about earth grounding where I was pretty much using one of these little guys right here. Might have lost one of them or I burned both of the coils out eventually. I wanted to sort of get something going like this right here, two in series with those transformers, but I just realized, if you don't get them potted, completely sealed up, or at least soaked in oil or something, they're not going to last long. So what I ended up using, some little magnetic lifting coils, right, similar to what's on this circuit. This is always a very interesting ZVS circuit for me. Just a small little piece of ferrite transformer, same type of coil on there, just one of them. Little IGBTs, and what I get is a very high voltage output that I can pull some pretty hot arcs from. So when I rectify that, it's pretty decent current, charge capacitors with it, run all types of loads, so it's pretty interesting. So this is basically a dual of that with a slightly different primary arrangement. So you can see the primaries and the secondaries are in series here. This is using just a simple basic ZVS driver with the center tap set up here. It's a couple IRF 3205s, 55 volt fits. So this is the full wave rectified output where it halves the output voltage. So I've got this neutral center tap here going to one leg, these bulb loads. The other one down here, it's just that, is going to the positive. So the two outer legs here rectified using some UF4007 diodes, and they're coming here to form the positive, and then that's the negative. So I've also got on here is a little fluoro tube that's just kind of hanging on one leg. It's going to sort of show what happens not only when you add the ground, but just play around with different loads at about that voltage right there. And I'm going to cut that on. So pulling maybe a couple hundred milliamps, hard to tell. So again, I've got this tube right here just hanging on one leg. It's just hooked up just with the one leg. Don't have a ground hooked up yet, that's over here. This is just how it's running as is, DC. So whereas AC output line to line got a fairly high AC voltage, when I rectify it like this, it basically turns into it drops the voltage a whole lot actually, with a little bit of the AC ripple on it, but you throw a little tiny capacitor on there and it smooths it right out. But because that's a fairly flat DC voltage, you can run stuff like this, probably about 100 volts at that voltage, 9 volts. So if I plug that one in, and actually doesn't come all the way on until I encourage it a little bit. There you go. There we go. So that pulls about a little over a couple amps. That's a 24 watter right there actually. It's too damn bright. Yeah, so that's actually a 23 watt CFL, which is pretty bright. It's kind of hard to tell. So that guy gets pretty bright, not bad. And let's try just the incandescent. So the incandescent, that's just a 40 watter. That's pulling about the same thing. Pulling about the same thing as this guy was. It's not crazy bright. It's not bad. Not bad for 9 volts set up like that. So now let's try another LED with the driver in it. This is the first LED rather. So that's an LED with a driver in it. It's fairly bright. Cobb A19. Not sure the wattage on that one. Let's see. That's an 18 watter. Yeah. 18 watt LED is going to be pretty bright, which that sucker is. But yeah, you can hear the frequency. These These cores, I don't actually have them gapped precisely, so they're just gonna ring it whatever they want to at the moment. Yeah, that guy's bright, very bright. Again, pulls about the same thing as the other ones. And just cause, let me see. Take that, try this other LED. Just another random one. It's probably like 8 watts or something. Again, pulls about the same thing. It's crazy bright. Crazy bright. Just for the hell of it, see what this does. It's actually it's 100 watt. And I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Maybe give it some time. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, it took a while for a little reaction in there. Yeah, so it's the same deal as I was using the other circuit over here to run a metal halide at about 12 volts. So here's another basically same type of deal, 9 volts. It's pulling a couple amps. Now that's not very bright. It looks brighter than it is on the camera. All that light's concentrated in that one little spot. But I would imagine, you know, same as usual, it'll just over time get brighter and brighter. Got kind of a cool little bluish hue to it. The little exterior tube on there. I don't know, that's pretty cool. Very interesting how those like to run on this type of circuit. So I'm gonna take that off. So what I'm gonna do now is cut the tester on over there, right? This tester, gotta bring it real close to pick up anything. Yeah, still picking up a little something, but gotta bring it real close. You can also see this little neon here, just try to get a reference. It's really very negligible field. Can't really hardly pick anything up. Just in the air. I have to start touching terminals. So, see what happens there. My slight artificial ground on my body. So touch the center tab and the 2 outer legs. AC, get a little something. And now what I'm going to do is take this ground right here and hook it up to the other end of this little tube I've got. So now I'm going to mains ground that. When I hook that up, see the tube gets a little brighter. Now what's happened is now I've got a bigger electric field going on around this whole build here. So that's starting to chatter around, doesn't really know what to do. Without the ground, really wasn't a whole lot of one wire action going on like that. So now this is just touching the outer terminal. This is the ground part that it's touching right now. So let's just say I take that off altogether. Go like that. Get that to light off the ground. Or not the ground, but the center tap. So you see how you got that field going. Likewise, let me see if I can pick anything up. So you can see the neon also is picking up now. So I've got this field that I've created using that ground. Right? So again, you kind of see what happens there. And if I take the ground back off, and again, I don't have that effect anymore. No more observable field to be picked up there and whatnot. Again, if I hook that back up, so that's what gives me the field. And again, that on all the way. Kind of see how that works. take the unloaded output. That's just shorting the output right there. So that's the spark. It's really not a spark, it's just a solid arc. Alright, so that's the DC. Alright, so that's about 18. That's less than 20 watts still that it's a little hot arc there. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And let's see, hook it back up. Let's get this one going again. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Barely get CFL glowing. Just off the wires there. Yeah, again, that's all the earth doing that. All the earth ground. Go ahead and take that back off. And it all goes away. Well, except for the direct output there. 2-wire output. That thing arcing. That's the only thing. Likes to arc pretty bad. Those terminals. Just not. Oh, I think I need to. There you go. Bump it up just a hair. That thing to ignite better. Just a hair. Yep. So pretty cool. Put the ground back on. 9 volts. That's about full brightness right there. And that's how far the field will go. Yeah, pretty cool.